start with that? Okay, start.
सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुणाक्षरसमानायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः भाष्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थः प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ.
Is it working? Huh? In the last class, we studied the concept of vritti, derived words, and they are of three types for our requirements. Actually there are 5, but for our context there are 3. We studied the 3 of them. What are they? Krudanta, Tadita or Taditanta and Samasa. Krudanta vritti is that vritti which is derived by adding primary suffix to the root. Okay, so let me get up. You are going to be able to see, or you can come this side. Dhatu plus krut pratyaya. Is equal to krudanta vritti. Dhatu plus krut pratyaya krudanta vritti. Like we gave the example, gam dhatu plus shatru pratyaya. At. Then it becomes gachat. This is a krudanta. But don't think gachat alone is krudanta or ichat, gachat, etc. Krutaha, that also is krudanta. Krutavan is krutavat, that also is krudanta. Rama also is krudanta. So many. Pramanam, krudanta. Prameya, krudanta. Pramata, krudanta. With that krudanta, vritti is very, very huge. We are only thinking krudanta means only this much. So any word which is derived by adding this suffix to the root, that will be krudanta. So Rama, Krishna, Shiva, all are krudanta. Atma also is krudanta. So krudanta, we should not think that only this what we our syllabus that is krudanta. For us that is krudanta, of course. So it's a very huge one. Then second one is what? Tadvita. In Tadvita, I said Pratipadika plus tadvita pratyaya. But technically, some grammarians don't accept Pratipadika. Practically, Pratipadika happens. But technically, it should be Subanta plus Tadvita. Subanta takes Tadvita Pratyaya and forms the Tadvita Anta. Only some technical difference is there. Subanta will take Tadvita Pratyaya. See, you don't have habit of putting the top, okay? So you read. I will be writing like this. So I will be writing like this. You have to understand I mean this. Okay. Because in Gujarati we don't have top, and therefore we try to avoid. Not try to avoid, it gets avoided. Okay. So Subanta takes Tadvita Pratyaya. But when we actually do the combination, we have to add to the Pratipadika only. So technically Subanta takes Tadvita Pratyaya from Tadvita Anta. For example, I had given this Tat. Shabda is there Subanta will be Tasya and Bhavaha. Let me put it this way. Tasya Bhavaha is Tattvam. This we have studied. Tasya Subanta Bhava. Bhava is not a Tadvita Pratyaya. For Bhava there will be a Tadvita Pratyaya. Tva. And Tasya Bhavaha Tattvam. So that Tasya, which is a Subanta, will take this Tva Tadvita, which conveys the idea of Bhava. So Tasya Bhavaha is converted into Tat. Tasya will be converted into Tat. Bhava will be converted into Tva, and we will have Tat Tva. We will have Tattva. Tattvam comes later on. Then Tattva, then plus Su Pratyaya is added, then it becomes Tattva. This is that just technical intricacies. Main thing is Tasya Bhavaha Tattva. And when Tasya is taking the Tadvita, the rule is that it will go back to its original form. The original form of Tasya is what? Tat. When Subanta takes the Pratyaya, Tadvita Pratyaya, then it will go back to its Pratipadika, Tat. And then it will take the Tadvita Pratyaya. When Subanta takes the Tadvita Pratyaya, Tasya will go back to its original from Pratipadika. That's why we had written like this. Tasya plus Tva becomes Tattva. And how from the Bhava became Tva? You and me don't have to bother. Panini tells that in the sense of Bhava, Tva Pratyaya will be added. We don't have to search for which Pratyaya will go. Panini has given us. Only thing we have to remember, or we have to go and find out from the Ashtadhyaya. So that is fixed. Which Pratyaya is added in which sense, we don't have to create. It's already given. So here, Tasya Bhavaha Tattvam, and then Su Pratyaya is added, becomes Tattva. I will give you another example just to make this topic clear. वसुदेव वसुदेवस्य पुत्रः वसुदेवस्य is a subanta or pratipadika? You are clear. And this vasudevasya will take pratipadika which has got the sense of putra. Apatyam in Paniniya language is called apatyam. Apatyam kumar, they will say. And pratyaya added will be an. This is given by us, given by Panini. To give the sense of a son, this an pratyaya will be added. And then even for daughter also an pratyaya, but different sense. Sometimes pratyaya will vary. Vasudevasya. So for taking this pratyaya, Vasudevasya will go back to what? Vasudeva. It is something like when you want to join one thing to the other, that other thing should be, the surface should be clean. Then only you can join. With all so many things on the surface, you cannot join. Therefore, this Vasudevasya will take this an pratyaya when it goes back to Vasudeva. Then Vasudeva plus an. Then some grammatical function will happen and we will get the idea Vasudeva. The son of Vasudeva, Vasudeva Krishna. So you imagine, this is the beauty of the language. From Vasudeva, just we add one this an and we got the idea Vasudeva, the son Vasudeva. So Vasudeva means the son of Vasudeva, Krishna. This is Pratipadika, and then it will take Supratyaya, that it will become Vasudevaha. So this word Vasudeva will be called what? Taddhitanta Vritti or Taddhita Vritti. Vasudeva will be called what? Taddhitanta Vritti or simple Taddhita Vritti. Alright. Like that we have got so many. Shaiva Bhaktaha. Shivasya Bhaktaha. Shivasya Ayam. Shaiva. Vishnoho Ayam Vaishnava. Gangayaha Ayam Gangaha. Like that we have got so many of them. In fact, Panini is full of this Taddhita Pratyaya. So much volume it occupies. Even in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, so many sutras are there for Taddhita. Plus it gives so many varieties. We get so many varieties of words. It makes the language very rich. Alright. So I hope Taddhita is clear. You may wonder, what is it? Taddhita. Some people will have this question. So fundamentally we did not explain. Many times people don't go into fundamentals. Yesterday I was talking to someone, that person is doing the research on fibrosis. I asked him, I said, he told me what she is doing. I said, what is the meaning of fibrosis? Why that disease is called fibrosis? I don't know. So, some people, they don't have the value. She knows a lot about that. She is doing research on that. But basic thing, but she was very honest. So that's very interesting. That's how they answer. So it's very interesting. But fibrosis means what? Don't know. So let us. We don't want to face such situation. So let us understand. Krudanta pratyaya, you understood, no? Krudanta, why it is called? Krut pratyaya is the end of it. Krut ante yasya tat krudanta. Since this word has got krut pratyaya at the end, therefore it is called krudanta. Is it clear? Now what is taddhita? For that various explanation is there. Tebhya, I will give the explanation so that it will be useful. Somehow I have got this habit of going to the fundamentals. You always go to the fundamentals. So your clarity is good. If you are very strong in fundamentals, then people cannot shake you so easily. तेभ्यः प्रयोगेभ्यः हिताः प्रत्ययाः। तेभ्यः प्रयोगेभ्यः हिताः प्रत्ययाः तद्धिताः। Instead of 2 dots, I put 3 dots. Here, no? Should only put 2 dots. So, Taddita are hitaha. Hita means useful. Tebhyaha, for those. Prayoga means usages. So, Taddita Shabda is derived like this. 2 components are there. Tat and Hita. Dakara becomes Dhakara, therefore Taddita. So in Taddita, 2 components are there. Tat and Hita. So Tat refers to Tebhyaha Prayogebhyaha. For those various Prayoga usages. So Tat refers to various usages. Hitaha means useful, applied, used. So the suffixes which are used for deriving various usages are called taddhitaha. The suffixes which are used for deriving various usages of the words are taddhitaha. Means for deriving Vasudeva, we require a pratyaya an. So an is used, hitam, used for what? Vasudeva, for deriving the word Vasudeva. So the suffixes which are used for deriving various words, they are called taddhita. It's a contextual definition. Alright, tat hitam taddhita. That is taddhita. So I hope you have fairly good idea about what taddhita is. We are not now studying taddhita. We are studying only samasa. But taddhita is one of the vrittis, and I want to use the word taddhita in the bhashyam. Therefore, I am telling all this, so that when I say taddhita, you don't blink. What taddhita? Now you cannot say, Swami, what taddhita? We don't know. So now you cannot say. You have to say, I know. If you don't say, also okay. No? Especially the first liner should know, so that because when I look at them, they should not give me blank view. Alright. Now the next one, our hero, is what? Samasa. Samasa. Samasaha. What samasaha? Samasa is also vritti. Vritti means what? Derived words. Kridanta vritti, taddhita vritti, and samasa. Difference between kridanta and taddhita is, in kridanta the root takes primary suffixes. In taddhita the subanta takes secondary suffixes. It takes secondary suffixes. Alright. Therefore taddhita is called sometimes what is called nominal derivative nouns. Like that they give the English words. They have to give something. So therefore but they give the nominative derivative nouns. But they don't exactly convey. It gives some name. You have to give me some name, Chintu, Pintu, so some name we have given. That means some idea but not exact. Alright. Samasaha, compounds. We have seen how compounds are formed. Subanta plus subanta. Neelam plus Utpalam is Nilotpala. Neelam, is it a Subanta or not? Eh? Neelam.
Yes.
Which soup is there? Eh? Eh? It becomes some. Originally what is there? Su only. Su afterwards become whatever it becomes. But actually originally is what? Soup only. Soup, not soup. Soup. So, Neela plus Su plus Utpala plus Su. Therefore, Neelam, which is Subanta, is combined with Utpalam, which is Subanta. Both of them are combined and give rise to a compound, Nilotpala. In fact, really speaking, it gives rise to Nilotpala only. Afterwards, Su Pratyaya is added and then it becomes Nilotpala. So both the words, when they are combined, they will give rise to only Nilotpala, not Nilotpalam directly. Subanta, when combined with another Subanta, then they give rise to Samasa, which is a Pratipadika. I hope it is clear. One Subanta combined, one Subanta, make it clear first. One Subanta Neelam combined with another Subanta Utpalam give rise to, both of them they give rise to what? Nilotpala, which is what? Pratipadika. Again they have to register themselves. One person combines with other person, give rise to one group, company. That company is again unregistered. That also has to register now. So it's a Pratipadika. Okay? Subanta, so they were having this Supratyaya dress. But when they combine, then they will have this Nilotpala. They lose these extra frills. Nilotpala. And now Nilotpala is a Pratipadika. It is not Subanta. One Subanta combined with other Subanta gives rise to Samasa, which is a Pratipadika. Krittadita Samasascha. The sutra will come. When you study further, it will come. Therefore, it is Pratipadika. And now that Nilotpala itself will take Supratyaya. Whatever Pratyaya it wants to take. Su or just whatever. Thus, Subantaha Subantena Sabasyate. But any Subanta cannot be combined with any Subanta. Samarthaha Subantaha Samarthena Subantena Sabasyante. You please write down this. Samarthaha Subantaha Samarthena Subantena Samasyate. Samasyate means combined. So one capable, competent Subanta is connected with another capable Subanta. Compatible. Last time we saw man marries another, I mean, a human being marries another human being. But not that any human being will marry any other human being. There is some compatibility. So when they can make a good couple, then only they will marry. Similarly, this Neela and Utpala can be combined if their compound form, that combined form can be a meaningful expression, meaningful word, which conveys some extra idea. And therefore, Nilotpala is a compound formed by Neelam and Utpalam, because Neelam and Utpalam are compatible, are capable of being combined to give rise to a compound with a specific meaning. So it should form, both of them should form a meaningful compound. Then only they can be combined. So any Subanta cannot be combined with any Subanta. Last class we saw that. Ramaha Rathena Gacchati. Rama is Subanta or not? Subanta. Rathena is Subanta?
Yes.
There is no Su, but it's in Ta is there. So Rama is Subanta, Rathena is Subanta. Both are Subanta, but they don't have Samasa. Why? Because Ramaha, Rathena, they do not have compatibility. And compatibility is generally decided by the rules given by Pani. Like in India, the two couple, that man and woman and boy and girl will marry if horoscopes are matching. So Panini Ashtadhyayi is like a horoscope. So it will show whether this fellow will be able to match with this or not. So Panini gives the sutras for that. That this vibhakti, if this vibhakti is there at the end of the word, it can combine with this type of words. So it gives, when you study more, you will understand that how samartha, samartha means capable, compatible, alone will form samasa. Alright, and one more thing, of course we are just repeating, but I thought it would be useful, therefore I am repeating. Neelam and Utpalam, they form the samasa Nilotpala. In that Nilotpala, Neela will be called Purva Pada. Purva Pada. Purva Pada means the first word. And Utpala will be called Uttara Pada. Or here also we can show Purva Pada, Uttara Pada. The first word and the second word. Purva Pada, Uttara Pada. These two words are important when we study the types of samasa. That time will be useful. Now we may see what is the use. Now just enough to know what is Purva Pada, Uttara Pada. Now, up to this what we have seen in the last class only is repeated. Now next we are going. Generally in our case, we are not great poets that we have to form compound. We don't have to form compound. What is our job is, compound is there, we have to break it into the components and their meanings. And therefore, one important topic related to samasa to be understood is vigraha. What is that? Vigraha. Vigraha has got one meaning in Sanskrit, fight also. But here it is not that meaning. Vigraha has got meaning fight. Here vigraha means explanatory sentence. In English it is called explanatory sentence. In Sanskrit the definition is given Vrityartha Bodhakam Vakyam. That is the technical definition of vigraha. Are you able to read the words what I am writing?
Yes.
Vrityartha इत्यर्थ बोधकम वाक्य. The sentence, vakya means sentence. Bodhakam is revealing. The sentence revealing artha, the meaning of the vritti, derived words. The sentence revealing the meaning of derived words is called vigraha. And just for your information, that vigraha word is not related to only samasa, even though generally we think of samasa vigraha only. But vigraha can be there with reference to tadvita also. Like the word Vasudeva is there. This is a tadvita, no? Tadvita, vritti. Now if I say Vasudevasya putraha, this is called what? Vigraha. Why? Because it is bodhakam, revealing meaning of the tadvita vritti. So Vasudevasya putraha is called what? Vigraha of Vasudeva. Is it clear? So this vigraha word is not restricted to samasa, even though we are going to see with reference to samasa. Vritti can be vigraha can be there with reference to krudanta also. For example, pramanam. Pramanam is which vritti? Krudanta vritti. Just now we studied. Just few minutes ago I told. Pramana, Prameya, Pramata, all are krudanta vritti. So, when I explain this, pramiyate anena iti pramanam. This will be called what? Vigraha. In simple words, the explanation of the word, derived word. Pramiyate anena iti pramanam. That by which an object is known is called pramanam. So that explanatory sentence, the sentence which explains the meaning of the derived word is called what? Vigraha. Clear? Vigraha. So alright, so this is with reference to krudanta and we reference to tadvita vijay. Now let us come to our hero. What is our hero? Samasa. Yes, you remember? Okay. So here, if samasa is already given, Nilotpalam, this is samasa. Samasa vritti, to be precise. Samasa vritti. And when I write Neelam cha tat utpalam cha, Nilotpalam. So Nilotpalam is what?
Neelam cha utpalam cha.
No, if I ask you Nilotpala, what is the meaning?
Blue lotus.
So now we are explaining Nilotpalam, we are explaining Neelam, that which is, that means that which is blue, and also the lotus is called blue lotus. What a nice way of saying. That which is blue and lotus is called blue lotus. So this is called विग्रह वाक्य और विग्रह नीलम च तत् उत्पलम च नीलोत्पलम. This will be called vigraha. Explanatory sentence is called vigraha. Sometimes a vigraha vakyam or symbol is vigraha is enough. Okay, I will give one or more example. Our known example. I am using pen too much or what? I got over. Vedanta. This is which vritti? Samas vritti. Last class we studied. Vedanta is a samas. Alright. So, this samasa vritti we want to explain. What is Vedanta? So, what we say? Vedasya antaha. This will be called what? Vigraha. To be precise, samasa vigraha. This is samasa. This is samasa vigraha. Vedantaha, vedasya antaha Vedanta. So really speaking, in teaching, this is what we do. Samasa vigraha is one of the parts of the Vyakhyana. If you remember, Padacheda Padarthokti Vigraho Vakya Yojana Akshepasya Samadhanam Vyakhyanam Pancha Lakshanam. We had seen long time back. Okay. So, one part of the explanation of any text is this Samasa Vigraha. We have to explain the Vigraha. So, this is called Vigraha. But to make it little bit more interesting or intricate, Vigraha is of two types. One is called Laukika Vigraha. Laukika Vigraha is explanatory note in natural, general language. Explanatory note in normal, general language. Like what we did now. Vedantaha is equal to Vedasya Antaha. This is the example of Laukika Vigraha. Means we understand this language, no? Vedasya Antaha. We understand. If we know Sanskrit a little bit, we understand Vedasya Antaha. So this is Laukika Vigraha. Explanatory note given in normal general language, non-technical language. That is called Laukika Vigraha. Laukika Vigraha will become more clear when you understand Alaukika Vigraha. What is Alaukika Vigraha? Alaukika Vigraha is the explanatory note given in technical language. Explanatory note given in technical language, that will be called Alaukika Vigraha. I will show you how technical it is. So Vedantaha Vigraha we want to give. So we will say Veda plus Gas Anta plus Su. Anta Su. Veda plus Gas Anta plus Su. This type of Vigraha, this also is a Vigraha. But it is a Vigraha in a technical language. If you tell somebody, what is Vedanta? So you say, Veda Gas Anta Su. What? What will people understand? Even if he knows little bit Antoine or this one, what is called infant reader, little bit he knows Ramasya, etc. So Vedasya Anta he will understand. But if you say Veda Gas Anta Su, it is something like computer language, you know. So sometimes, you know, in our computer screens, that computer language comes instead of the regular things. So it is something like that. So Veda Gas Anta Su. This type of explanatory note is called Alaukika Vigraha. Is it clear? Alright. So now more we will see about the types of samasa, etc.